All those who touched him were cured. Having made the crossing, Jesus and his disciples came to land at Gennesaret, and tired up. No sooner had they stepped out of the boat than people recognized him and started hurrying all through the countryside and brought the sick on stretchers to wherever they heard he was. And wherever he went, to village or town or farm, they laid down the sick in the open spaces, begging him to let him touch even the fringe of his cloak. And all those who touched him were cured. Today's first reading shows how the people of Israel understood that the temple in Jerusalem was the primary place of God's presence. In the language of that reading, the glory of the Lord filled the Lord's temple. Because the temple was considered to be God's dwelling place, it was a place of pilgrimage. People went up to the temple from all over Israel. In the words of today's responsorial psalm, let us go to the place of his dwelling. In the gospel reading, the movement of people is not towards the temple, but towards Jesus. We are told that as soon as he stepped ashore from the boat, people recognized him and started hurrying towards him. They had come to recognize that God was dwelling in Jesus and working powerfully in a life-giving way through Jesus, which is why they not only went to him themselves, but brought their sick with them. They brought the sick on stretchers to wherever they heard he was. The temple was stationary in Jerusalem. Jesus was not stationary. He moved around. The gospel reading says that he went to villages, towns, farms, and open spaces. Jesus went to where people were, which is why they went to him. Jesus, now risen Lord, is always going to the places where we are. He comes to us as we are and where we are. Our going to him is always in response to his prior coming to us. We don't have to go on long pilgrimage to find him, because he meets us in our own place and time. The gospel reading suggests that he meets us especially in our brokenness, inviting us to reach out and touch him, so as to receive from his life-giving presence. Like St. Paul, we too can discover that his power is made perfect in weakness. This reading brings us the extent to which Jesus drew people to himself. This morning's reading brings us to the extent to which Jesus drew people to himself, especially those who were sick and broken. We are told that people started hurrying all through the countryside and that they brought the sick on stretchers to wherever they heard he was. It was above all those in need of healing who reached out towards Jesus and sought to touch even the fringe of his cloak. They reached out to him because they recognized him as a source of life and healing. We ourselves very often reach out towards the Lord with greatest energy and experience our own need of healing. Whether it is physical or emotional or spiritual healing, the struggles of life with the brokenness and suffering we experience in the course of our lives can make us more aware of our need of the Lord and more open to his presence. It is often the cracks in our lives that allow the Lord's light to enter and shine on us. It can sometimes be through our experience of the cross that we grow in our relationship with the risen Lord. The darker times of our lives can leave us more spiritually aware by bringing home to us our need of the Lord. It is in such moments that we truly make our own that prayer, which forms part of a well-known hymn. Help of the helpless, oh abide with me.